welcome to Telling the Tale. It's been a couple weeks. It's been 3 weeks. I'm your host, Mitchell Farley Wolf. Joining me, as always, is other host, Dustin Jackson.
I don't remember how we do this.
You just say hi. You don't need to do anything.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Well, how are you, Dustin?
I'm doing great. I'm doing just dandy here today. I just played Minecraft.
Yeah, which
episode 6 today, called A Portal to Mystery.
Minecraft
and I'm hoping you did the
Story
same.
Mode, Adventure Pass episode 1, but overall episode 6, A Portal to Mystery, released on June 7th, 2016. Directed by Sean Manning, designed by Brian Freyermuth, Andrew Baker, and Grady Standard, written by Eric Stirp and Timothy Williams.
Love hearing you say those names every week.
Is that the one? Is that the same one you played?
I think so.
Okay, good. So, before we get started talking about the episode, I think we have a couple orders of business to get through.
Oh.
We don't have to.
No, I'd love it. That was a...
If you're feeling bad about it, we can move on.
You know what? I can see how you could take that as a disappointed, oh.
Yeah, I have no idea. This is an audio medium. How else could I take it?
But that was actually meant to come across as overjoyed.
Oh, like you've seen something very cute and you're like, oh, like that almost? Okay.
Yeah, tilting my head a little.
I could see it. Order of business number 1. We've been gone for a few weeks, and we said a lie to you in the last episode. We said that when we would come back, we would talk about all 3 episodes of the Adventure Pass at once. We're not doing that. Why aren't we doing that? Well, this episode is a real humdinger. It's got a lot of shit in it.
Right. Yeah, we done goofed.
Yeah, we played episode 6 of 8 for this episode, and as soon as I played it, I texted you on the old Discord, Dustin, and I said, hey, episode 6 is a real humdinger. We should probably slow down. We should probably not do our compression tactics on the Adventure Pass like we said we would.
And I told you, shut up, I'm at Disneyland. I don't care.
Yeah, that is how it went. Yeah, so that is where you were on a beautiful family vacation at Disneyland.
Oh, thank you for saying that about my family and their vacation.
Yeah, I lived sort of close to there, so I came down. I saw you in person, Dustin.
We met one another for the first time, and we decided not to do a podcast.
That's true. Yeah, we've been doing this podcast since 2021. We have known each other for years before that, and we still just hadn't seen each other in person. We're those internet
states.
friends you hear about.
Yeah, we're a couple of those, but it finally worked out this time. We got pizza. It was delicious pizza. I thought it was good.
Yeah, we got pizza from a boba shop in Los Angeles, which is how Los Angeles do, baby.
Yeah, and thank you, Los Angeles.
Dustin, big question about me.
Drop that question.
Okay, so when you saw me in person for the first time, was I what you thought I was going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of you.
Yeah,
we had video calls before. I knew exactly who I was walking up to, but you're a lot taller than I am. Not to say you're, like, super tall, I'm just very short.
Was that surprising?
It wasn't surprising. I know I'm shorter than most people, but I was a little like, oh, I hope this isn't awkward for him. He's going to have to, like, bend down to talk to me.
Short people always putting me out.
Like you're talking to a child when you like bend down and put your hands on your knees.
No, it never crossed my mind. Dustin.
Hey, champ, you want to go to the pizza and boba shop? And I'm like, yeah.
You're a good amount of years older than me too.
That's true.
So
that would make it even worse.
Yeah, if I was doing that. So that's. Yeah, it was great to see you. It was great to...
It was great. It was a great time.
I've definitely also seen you in pictures and such before, but it was great to put a physicality to the name and voice.
Oh, thank you, Mitchell. It was my honor.
So just... That'll catch you up, the audience, on what we did. That should be the episode. The other order of business, the other big one, is that Telltale, Neo Telltale, as it were, dropped some information recently about their upcoming projects during the time that we've been off air.
No way.
So, Dustin, you want to handle this, or should I go for it?
You go ahead. You know all the details. I didn't prepare for this.
Yeah, I know that, and I was extending it as a courtesy, but I was definitely going to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they came to the Futures Game Show, where they were one of many companies just putting out sort of your press conference E3-ish kind of trailers and discussions about the games that they're bringing on. They didn't have a new trailer really, but they did have a video where they had a bunch of people at Deck 9 who are the main developers on the Expanse, a Telltale series, just talk about what it's like to come from what they were working on previously to what Telltale was working on previously to what the Expanse is all about. It seems like there's a huge effort in like really layering this in with the world of the Expanse, which if I can be brutally honest for a second, I think is kind of wild, because I did not know this show was that popular in order to warrant doing that. But
did not either.
Very cool. Probably.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, but in theory it's cool.
Yeah. I did not know about the show The Expanse before the original trailer for the game.
Same. Me neither.
Yeah, but then I saw some Twitter reactions that day that were like, "Oh, you're playing as drummer?" And I'm like, "Okay, well maybe people know about this."
Who's this drummer character?
She's like a space one, and
she's one of the space ones.
I think the big piece of news, which is technically not news because they already said it, but it's a reaffirmation that the first episode of The Expanse is going to come out this summer. And I don't really expect that to be pushed too far. Yeah.
I think that's close enough that they probably have they feel pretty good about that date.
Yeah, because they already said earlier this year The Wolf Among Us 2 is not making it out in 2023. Yeah. Which is it's good to hear. It is a bit disappointing, but also there's over 9 months left in 2023. So for them to know that early and say it publicly that early, while on the flip side reaffirming, oh yeah, Expanse is this summer though, that makes me feel more confident about both of those things, because one of them's got delayed, one of them is staying put in a soon time frame.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will definitely cover The Expanse as it comes out, one episode at a time, baby, in real time.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, other episodes probably in the past said it too.
But if you listen to this one first.
Dustin, how do you feel? Probe the inner part of your mind for me for a second. How do you feel about Telltale's The Expanse?
Not much. I mean, I'll be honest, it's not like immediately appealing to just me and my tastes.
Yeah.
But, I could say that about a lot of Telltale games we played that I ended up loving. So, that could totally happen here too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's just a little hard for me to get excited for something that's not like immediately appealing to me, but also this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it in like a mean, I am upset way, but I'm obligated to play this.
Yeah, that's, you know what? That is kind of true. I am excited to see what a Telltale game looks like now after a good amount of hibernation. And from a different team, really. This is the Deck 9 team, which are known for entries in the Life is Strange series.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, those games themselves are very clearly influenced by The Walking Dead.
Yeah. I
So,
still need to play those. I hear very good things. I have a friend who really likes those games, and he's been trying to get me to play them for years, and I'm just kind of like, I'll get to them.
yeah, I've also not played them. But that is an interesting perspective to come from on the Telltale side. Because the Ad Hoc team, which is the team making The Wolf Among Us 2, they are, I believe, primarily consistent of old Telltale people.
Okay, so that one feels a little more quote unquote in house, even though it's not.
Yeah, like they're both the development on both of those games seems to be led by New Telltale, but they have different developers on the development side. So
right,
yeah.
So they're still being published by Telltale Games, so you can still call them a Telltale game.
Well, yeah, literally, because The Expanse is called The Expanse, a Telltale series. Telltale is in the name.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about how New Tales from the Borderlands didn't do that.
No, they certainly couldn't, because they're not... Well, for one, it's not just a name you can use. That's a company, right?
Yeah.
So, The Expanse is being published by Telltale. It is a Telltale game. This is the new way Telltale works. Just being a new IP, and being the Deck 9 people, which I'm sure probably contain old Telltale people as well. They're everywhere. I just learned, actually, that someone I've been working with, shout outs to Varum. Hey, Varum.
Hello.
Someone I've been working with is a longtime Telltaler. And
that's awesome.
They're just everywhere in the video game industry now, scattered to the wind like dandelion seeds. Yeah,
you can't take 2 steps without stepping in one.
Well, that seems like a rougher way to say that. But yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I watched the first season of the show, The Expanse, liked it enough. I would probably have continued, but for whatever reason I just didn't. It's a cool premise, but yeah, it will ultimately just come down to how this game plays and what their take on the story is, as is the case with every Telltale game that we've played, at least since after The Walking Dead.
Right.
Because I said as much in the show, I don't have much of a stomach at all for zombie stuff. It's not my favorite aesthetic by a long shot. It might be my least favorite aesthetic, but The Walking Dead just had a great story, and
great
they
story,
knew what they were doing
great
with
characters. Yeah, that's exactly how I was. I had zero interest in Walking Dead.
Yeah, and The Expanse, I think, has a leg up on that, because I do like sci-fi more, just as a starting point. And I actually think that the art style in The Expanse, they're going for certainly more realistic than The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead was looking like a comic book. That was its aesthetic. But it's still very like stylistic in how they have modeled faces and stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was looking back on it. Like, when I think about it in my head, I think, I remembered it looking more realistic, just really not my taste. But then when I went back and looked at it, you can see some stylization in there. I was a little more open to it.
You know, it almost looks like the art style, like, not quite. It's more realistic than this, but it's almost a little bit like the art style Pixar went for Lightyear.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and I did not dislike that style, so sure.
Yeah, you know what? Sure.
Yeah, I do feel bad for the team on this game in the way that it's been handled on social media. Not in any way that I think they could have done much about, but every post that Telltale, their Twitter account, posts about The Expanse, which is the thing that's gearing up to release, so of course that's what they're going to be tweeting about. Every subtweet about it is, okay, but what about Wolf Among Us 2? What about that one? That's the one we want to know about. And that's a rough position to be in, but clearly someone made a choice.
It reminds me of like every post from Rare on Twitter, where no matter what they talk about, it's just people saying, Banjo, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hard to feel one way or another about it, really, because on the one hand, I certainly would love another Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, that's the number one game I want more than anything. But it's like,
Yeah.
it sucks to talk about anything, and that's like all people talk about and want.
Yeah, yeah. You simply can't talk about other things. It's rough.
Yeah.
Nintendo's kind of going through their own little thing right now, where they're only tweeting out tweets about the original Zelda Breath of the Wild, despite the fact that a sequel's coming out. That's almost the reverse, where they really should be tweeting about the sequel, and people want them to, but they're like,
yeah,
nah, we're gonna do some old shit for some reason.
Remember this?
Take a little vacation back in the past.
Yeah, we already have this one.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah, so I hope that it works out for them. I feel like they're kind of taking a gamble on this IP, and they all genuinely seem like big fans. That was what I got out of the video the most.
Right.
They're huge fans of this book series. 6 seasons of a television show and 9 books. So there's a lot of currently standing lore in the Expanse universe, and they are in it. They are knee deep with these characters in this world. So
I hope I don't have to know much about it going in.
Yeah, me too, because I did see that first season, and that's what I saw, and maybe I'll try to see more, but like I hope I'm good. I hope I'm mostly fine.
Yeah, I might at least watch the first one before it comes out, but even then I can't make promises.
Yeah, I know the main character of the game is a character in the show, voiced and acted by the person who plays her in the show.
Oh, nice.
But I did not see that character in the show yet. It's not like an early series character. So that's interesting.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Anyway, we played Minecraft Story Mode Adventure Pass Episode 1, Episode 6, Season 1, A Portal to Mystery.
That's a lot to say.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I think the name of the episode is Minecraft Story Mode Season 1, Episode 6, A Portal to Mystery. Forget about the Adventure Pass. It's just marketing.
Right, 'cause especially for us, since we just played the season all at once.
Yeah. Although we did put a good 3 weeks between the season and the Adventure Pass, so we got a little bit of that.
I just mean, like, the game I'm playing on Xbox, it's just every episode right there. It doesn't say, like,
yes,
it contains episodes 1 through 5 and also the Adventure Pass. It just says episodes 1 through 8.
So, overall, how did you feel about this episode?
I liked this episode a lot. It reminded me of the Family Guy episode.
Which Family Guy episode?
They do a big murder mystery episode.
Okay.
and it's like that on account of being a murder mystery at a mansion.
Yeah, this is absolutely a send up and homage to popular murder mystery stories. Your Agatha Christie types of stories.
Right.
Where someone's acting as a detective trying to figure out who's killing who in this mansion and how all these murders are happening, despite the fact that these murders are so well hidden. They do eventually find the answer. While all that is happening, there is a distinct and heavy, I guess subplot would be the wrong word, because it's not a story thing necessarily, but all of these additional characters we're meeting for the first time in this episode are, well, not all of them, but most of them are YouTubers.
Yeah, and you can immediately tell. Like, as soon as I saw and heard these guys, I was like, oh, they must have gotten people from the community. That's cool.
Well, yeah. Not just because they sound that way or look that way, but also because their names in the canon of the world are Stacy Plays and Dan the Diamond Minecart and Stampy Cat.
Stampy Cat.
Yeah. And Captain Sparkles. Captain Sparkles, apparently, enormous YouTuber. Enormous, like, very popular Minecraft YouTuber.
Damn, really?
Yeah, real.
I didn't know that. I didn't really look into the people themselves.
So
Maybe I should have.
yeah, I mean, I would let you do research if you're asking permission.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, so these were big Minecraft people, and I think this just extends what we were talking about with the main story of the season, how there were so many things like the Farlands and people making their own crushers that like funnel enemies down to make resources out of them under castles and stuff that are not in the story or lore of Minecraft, but are just things that people have done in the community and things that players tend to do. They're making the story out of that. So
Yeah.
they bring in these YouTubers and they make them a big part of at least one of the episodes of this season. I think that's kind of wild.
I do too. It's great. I think it's very cool.
Did
I don't
you
really...
have I'm
What?
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask, did you have a favorite YouTuber? But maybe I shouldn't ask that because we do have a section later in the show where we talk about our weekly guys.
Ooh, yeah. Let's keep it on the down low.
Question retracted. The listener, you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, that'll be this episode's big mystery.
Yeah. So I guess just to set up some premise here. The main gang, Jesse, Ivor, Petra, and Lucas, they at the end of that last episode in the Sky world, they found another portal. They thought they were going back home, but then they just found this hall of portals, and they took one of the portals. They ended up here, which is this world overrun. You just sent me a picture of Peter Griffin with a magnifying glass. Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, he's solving the mystery.
Yeah, this is great.
But yeah, they land in a spooky world.
Yeah,
with,
overrun by
zombies everywhere. Lots of gravestones.
Yeah, and they get a letter from someone who calling themselves the host, trying to direct them all to this mansion, where
it's just kind of left out in the open.
Yeah. They intuit it might be for them. I guess it is.
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, because it turns out other people also found these invitations. It seems like it was like purposefully given to these people, rather than just because it seems like they're just left out for random people to find. But once the story gets started, it seems like they all it was a purposeful strategy.
Yeah. So within this mansion, the party meets the characters Torque Dog, Captain Sparkles, LD Shadow Lady, but also goes by Lizzie, Stampy Cat, Dan the Diamond Minecart, Stacy Plays, and Cassie Rose. And her cat, Winslow.
That's a lot of people. Those are some good names.
And there are some good names, YouTubers. You really nailed it. Yeah, and it's so funny to me that they take a person like Stacy Plays that has the name Stacy in their name and could just call this character Stacy. But they don't. They call her Stacy Plays.
Right. It's as if these characters are influencers in this world and should be well known. Yeah.
And the first time you meet Captain Sparkles, who I think sort of feels like a leader in this group to a certain extent.
Yeah.
The first time you meet them, they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm Captain Sparkles. I'm really popular around here." And because we're from a different universe, Jesse's like, "Yeah, no, I don't know about you."
I never heard of you.
And he's like, "Wow, really? I've got like 10 million fans. Whatever. Okay."
Cool, man.
And they just go along. So here, if I knew these characters, if I knew these YouTubers, and if I knew all of them, I would be very easy it would be very easy to predict how this episode would go.
Right, because not all of them are real people.
No, Torque Dog, despite having the best name of the bunch, is played by Adam Harrington, longtime Telltaler voice. And Cassie Rose is played by Ashley Birch.
Yeah.
Super famous voice actress. And
yeah, we know her.
So Torque Dog is Torque Dog is interesting because he's the first one to die. And the deaths, by the way, are for real. There's no I thought for a while, because of how some people were like buried in sand or they fell down a hole or something.
Yeah.
That we would find out, oh, it was them the whole time, and that was just like their way of getting out of the picture.
Yeah.
But no, they're all really dead.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Wow, Torque Dog is the same voice as Bigby Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his page on Behind the Voice Actors, and just seeing Torque Dog show up in the middle of it is...
What else does Adam Harrington have?
In general, or just his Telltale roles?
Well, what's another Telltale one?
Let me see. Those are the first two, so I'm scrolling a little bit.
That might be it. I know he's returning for Bigby in Wolf 2.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like the voice is a big part of Bigby, but he's Kroger in Tales from the Borderlands.
Kroger?
Oh, he's also the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's Andrew St. John in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that.
I remember that. That guy ate folks.
Yeah, well, I won't go down the whole list. There's plenty of others, though.
But yeah, so I wanted to ask you about your conversation with Torque Dog. Because Jessie introduces herself in my game, because Jessie is a girl, as, "Hi, I'm Jessie." And Torque Dog says, "Jessie? That's a boy's name."
Yeah, guess what he says in my version?
I bet he says it's a girl's name.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you can choose how to react to that, which I think it has some good comebacks. One of which is like, "Oh, I don't know, but I'm a girl." Or, "It's not just a boy's name."
I think I said that one.
Yeah. So interesting tactic, because I was wondering, would a company do this move nowadays? It's only 2016. It's not like a whole long time ago, but it is 7 years. And right. I think within that 7 years, I would love to involve YouTubers in my stuff as much as possible, but I would be hesitant for sure that sometimes some YouTubers are found out to be on massive scales, sometimes not great people.
Yeah, they end up being assholes sometimes.
Yeah, it's certainly not a universal, but it is something that tends to happen. Probably a combination of the fact that being a YouTuber has almost no vetting process. You can just choose to upload things and
right.
You're there, you did it. But also that in combination with the fact that people who get power really quickly often don't know how to use it as well, and let it go to their head and become people that might have a history of taking advantage of other people, among other indecencies. So right. I don't know if that happened to any of these YouTubers. I've actually made a point to not look at it.
Yeah.
They're
I didn't make a point not to. I just didn't think about it or care to.
Yeah, but Torque Dog is sort of an example of the kind of YouTuber I'm talking about already. So like this is why they made up a fake one, because I don't think they would want a real YouTuber to do this and seem like such an asshole themselves, right?
Right. They make up this guy to be an asshole. He's a griefer and a thief.
Yeah, a sexist griefer, like rowdy thief with a strong gruff accent in the way they speak.
Yeah, and no one seems to like him, which it makes it a little funny when after he's killed, everyone's like, "Not Torque Dog? What? Torque Dog wouldn't die. They got Torque Dog?"
Well, everyone's reaction is at first, "Oh, Torque Dog," and then it's the very next sentence they say is, "Well, I mean, nobody liked him, but."
But if it was someone we liked, this would be awful.
Yeah, it's just so sad because I could imagine it being anyone else.
Boy, I'm glad it wasn't, though.
Yeah, so they got Torque Dog, and as you interview everyone else and you try to find evidence as to who the White Pumpkin, who is the host, could be, because you've determined it is one of you. The call is coming from inside the house, right? It is eventually determined to be Cassie Rose, the Ashley Birch character.
Yeah, I'm hoping everyone who listens to this has already played the episode.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of what this podcast is. We gotta talk about it.
Yeah, we're on episode 6. We're all adults here.
So on the wiki page for this episode, in the trivia section, they said that Shadow Lady, or also known as Lizzie, the pink hair. It's weird for a Minecraft character to look vaguely anime, but they do.
Right.
Right. Apparently, she asked Telltale multiple times, "Can I be the murderer?" When they were still trying to figure out who the murderer was going to be. I think that's hilarious. That's great.
She wanted to be the murderer.
She really did want to be. Yeah, she wanted it.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was wondering how they would feel if they were the murderer.
Yeah.
I guess that answers that.
I mean, I think it would be cool as hell. That would be.
Yeah, it would be great.
That's absolutely who I would want to be the murderer in a game like this. This is great. Yeah. So then Torque Dog dies first, due to a poison arrow, which is sort of your hint that
this was no accident.
This is no accident. You don't just have those around. And then his stuff is magicked away with like some holes, some trapdoor. It was all very premeditated. And then later, Captain Sparkles dies when he falls down a hole and then is buried in sand.
That made me feel bad. Captain Sparkles made such a good impression. I was like, "Oh, not my good friend Captain Sparkles. There he goes into the ground."
Yeah, they definitely picked the right YouTuber to be the like gregarious host type person of the group.
Yeah.
Definitely some you get the sense, not to put anyone down, and I won't name names really because these are not professionals in what they're doing here. Some people have better acting chops than others.
Right. I don't think anyone was like bad enough that it took me out of it. I guess that's where the thought ends. Like, I didn't think anyone was like super bad or anything. But you definitely get the impression that they are YouTubers and not your usual voice acting stable Telltale has.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Like Stampy Cat, who's the one who wears the orange hoodie.
Yeah.
He's always going. He's throwing his whole attitude at it the whole time. What a delightful coward! What a delightful cowardly role that he's playing.
Yeah,
that's great.
He sold it.
Yeah. And like you can kind of tell this is not what they're usually doing, but great. You absolutely did a Minecraft character just now.
Yeah, if anything, I think it adds more charm to this specific group of characters.
Yeah, I don't know like if these are all in a friend group or within a network of channels or something, but they do seem to have really great chemistry with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish people weren't turning out to be scary, difficult to work with people sometimes on YouTube. Ever. So you could do more of this kind of thing and feel good about it.
Yeah. I'm sure nowadays this sort of thing is just like these. I'm sure if they made a hypothetical season 3 of Minecraft, I'm sure they would say like, all right, well, we can't do that because it could come back and bite us in the ass.
Yeah, so I googled Stampy Cat. I didn't do that with all of them. I just wanted to see like some. What are they doing now? They still doing YouTube videos, and like Shadow Lady is still doing YouTube videos. Still kind of
nice.
Looks like that actually. Stampy Cat is. I found Stampy Cat's Twitter page, and he's talking about like, man, I want to keep playing Minecraft, but it's so buggy these days, and it just bumps me out every time I play. And I felt bad in that moment.
You have a connection to this guy now.
Well, I have a connection to this guy having a connection to Minecraft, right? Because like,
yeah,
you got to imagine these people are some of the biggest fans of the game.
Right, and to see someone who made it into Minecraft story mode.
Yeah, they're in Minecraft, and they're like, oh, man, the game's so just buggy. Not doing what it used to do for me. Wow.
Yeah, that hits you.
Yeah, that hits you. Yeah, so I have right here on my notes in the middle, Sparkles died and then Cassie ran away. Wow, I could have solved it right there.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna how long did it take you did you realize it was her like right then?
No, I didn't.
I realized a little bit in I actually don't know if the reason I realized ever actually like came up, but I was thinking how so
did you know it was actually Birch? Could you tell?
Oh yeah, definitely, because
okay, I didn't have that until I saw the credits.
Well, that's not why I thought it was her. I thought it was her because when Captain Sparkles dies, he dies because a button is pressed to activate the trap. And it turns out there's 4 buttons on the table, and when you interrogate them, it sounds like nobody did it. Everyone's like just as valid a suspect. I was thinking it was the cat. I was thinking, oh, no one pressed the button? Oh, well then maybe it's the cat. That just seems to build up, and then like as it goes, Cassie gets like she's like very quick to pin it on Lucas.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's got to be her. But then it turns out, no, the cat did not press the button. It was Dan on accident.
Yeah, which I have to admit, that's a funny trick. That's a funny way for it to have gone. Like, Captain Sparkles was not supposed to die. Cassie did not intend that.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it happened.
Yeah, he just happened to be standing perfectly in the right place for a trap to work when he accidentally did something.
Yeah, so early on, I still I still suspected it was Cassie, but boy, I was completely thrown off as to why.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that they gave her the name Cassie Rose, because that's such a YouTuber, right? Cassie Rose. Yeah. Even if I knew the 5 real YouTubers here, I could still imagine thinking Torque Dog and Cassie Rose are like, oh, I guess there's 2 I don't know. I thought it was really in this community, but then there's these 2 new people I don't even know.
I've never heard of this Torque Dog.
Yeah, I'll look him up after the game.
I hear he's a real asshole.
He really sucks. I gotta watch him. So the reason Cassie Rose has summoned everyone here is because, remember those old builders that Ivor was alluding to? The old builders?
I remember.
Yeah, the ones that he says were even before the Order of the Stone, and you're thinking like, well, okay, so is that like 50 years ago? How many years do you think is that old?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, but Cassie Rose is strongly hinted at, I guess not completely confirmed, to be one of them. And she's just been stuck in this universe for a very, very long time. She's trying to find this universe's version of the enchanted flint and steel.
Yeah.
So Jessie has the enchanted flint and steel from her universe. But some of these other people have had it at various points.
Right. It's a whole drama thing, a whole story between these guys.
Yeah, so Lizzie and Dan both really wanted it. They were searching for it forever. Dan almost found it, but then Lizzie found it, and then when it was stolen from Lizzie, Dan was the primary suspect for her, obviously, because they were competing for it. But it turned out Stampy Cat just took it because he could, and he thought, oh, maybe it's cool.
Yeah, he didn't even really want it. He just said, "Oh yeah, it's a prank, bro."
Yeah, and it genuinely, as far as I could tell, did seem like a prank. It was.
Yeah,
he really didn't
had
care
no,
about
like,
it that
motive.
much.
He didn't have any motive to actually want it.
Yeah, it's interesting to like rob a bank and leave with the money, and then someone's asking you like, why did you do it? Why did you want the money so bad? And the genuine answer is, oh, man, I guess I didn't. I don't know.
it was just supposed to be a fun prank.
Yeah, I'm studying kleptomancy, and I gotta just take what I can. So,
oh man,
yeah. Eventually, you find the basement, and there are tons of calico cats, just like Cassie's cat Winslow.
Right. So that's when you're like, okay,
yeah, that's
right.
the like nail in the coffin. It's definitely her.
Yeah, I like the little puzzle down there. It's like I brought up in a different episode. I like when these Minecraft episodes throw like actual puzzles at us, like old Telltale games. I have missed them.
Yeah,
even if they're not like the craziest puzzles in the world. Like when you see the fish in the pond, Lucas is just like, oh, I could use those fish to distract this cat. It basically tells you what the puzzle is, but it's still neat to have something like that after.
Yeah, and
in
that,
this era.
that fish cat puzzle is so. I mean, there's some times where like you're locked outside of the screen, right? You can't just reach in there and do what you want to do, which is to grab the cat and put it on the ground and open the box.
well, Jessie tried.
Jessie tried, but then it got back on, and she didn't think, well, there's got to be some other way to do this.
Yeah, I can't ask Petra to hold this cat for a second.
Or I'll hold it with one arm and open the box with the other. Or I'll kind of shoo them away on the ground with my foot while I'm open. Or so many other things. I'll put them further away from the box.
I gotta catch this fish first.
Yeah, I have to lure it off with its own will using fish. Very old school, like LucasArts kind of puzzle right there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's goofy.
Yeah, I can imagine Guybrush saying, I could move the cat, but it looks so comfy. Yeah, so Cassie Rose might be an old builder. You trick her into some sand in her own trap, and she gets a little bit buried. And everyone thinks she died from that. By the way, so there's 3 deaths before that scene. There's Torque Dog, right. Captain Sparkles, and then one other death that could be one of 2 people. Who died for you?
For me, it was Lizzie.
Okay, for me it was Lizzie too. I think it was Lizzie most of the time, but if you accused Dan, it was going to be Dan.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how to trigger the other deaths, because I think the other character can die too, Stacy?
Maybe.
I could be wrong. I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, is this like, are these the only deaths that can happen? Or I guess not. I like that it could be different characters. I have no idea how to make one person die over the other through my actions.
Yeah, I don't really know what I did to or about Lizzie, except at the very end so there were a bunch of spiders coming out. This was the trap. Introduce spiders was the trap.
Right.
And you had the choice, a classic Walking Dead style choice of, do you pursue the bad guy as they're running away to maybe get a leg up on him, or do you go to run and help the person? And I pursued the bad guy, which immediately resulted in Lizzie dying. It felt bad about it. It felt bad. They got me.
So for me, I helped kill the spiders, but Lizzie still died.
I feel less bad now. I feel like I actually made a great decision then.
Yeah, so what happened for me was, after we were done killing the spiders, Lizzie was about to say something. Like, she was about to reveal some information, but then the white pumpkin jumps out from the fireplace and just kills her with a big axe.
Oh. Wow. Aggressive. Okay, yeah, I don't think the white pumpkin never really got their hands that dirty with my version of it.
Yeah, we witnessed a death at the white pumpkin's hands.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I think that would probably change my attitude toward the white pumpkin. A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they still are actively causing these people to die. It's not like it was an accident, except for Captain Sparkles. But yeah.
But in your version of the game, the white pumpkin was never directly responsible for anyone's deaths, except, well, I guess Torque Dog.
Well, I mean, Torque Dog and Lizzie, because Lizzie died to the spiders, and that was the white pumpkin's choice. But it was like it's always these indirect like machines that do it, felt impersonal in comparison to what you're describing of just straight up axe murder.
Yeah, a literal slasher movie villain death.
Yeah. So Cassie Road is covered in sand. All of her inventory floats up, which is the classic sign of death. And they start walking away. The main party and who's left of the old, or of like the YouTuber party, they say, "Well, it was great meeting you. On next episode of Pokemon, you're gonna see a completely different person of the week, right?"
Have fun never seeing any of us again.
And then they walk away. They walk toward the portal that they have in the courtyard of this castle, and they try to light it with the enchanted flint and steel, but it's a decoy. Oh. And then they fall down into a hole underground. Cassie Rose is still there, and there's a bunch of cats, and I think lava, and wow. Or no.
Endermites.
Yeah, Endermites. Endermice? Endermice.
Endermites. M-I-T-E-S.
Are they not mice?
No, I read Endermites, as in like bugs.
Okay, but they are... okay, I'll look it up.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're right. They are Endermites with a T.
What a surprise.
And I guess they're just little cubes.
Just little bug cube men.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, this decoy portal did get me.
Totally. I thought the episode was over. It hadn't enough time had passed for it to feel like a good chunky episode. The resolve happened. I believed in Cassie Rose's death because it was shown the same way as Sparkles, and Sparkles actually did die.
Yeah. Well, I thought there was something up with Cassie because once they leave, the camera kind of focuses on where she died for a second. So I was kind of like, But I was thinking like, oh, maybe maybe she didn't die and she'll come back in a later episode or something. I didn't believe that I was going to be made a fool of right there.
Yeah, and she might come back in a later episode. I think that's potentially still open.
Yeah.
But what we have here is the white pumpkin. Cassie is reaffixed the white pumpkin costume to her head. She must find some sort of solace in wearing it. And
I get that.
We have this action scene of Jesse and Cassie fighting over the enchanted flint and steel. What do you think of this scene?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was like a good, solid ending with like an actual confrontation with an actual villain.
Yeah, I it reminded me of the last episode 5, where we had Adrian, the showdown with Adrian on that little cliffside thing.
Yeah.
And this season, the series, is getting a lot better, I think, at the cinematography and the general feel of these antagonist showdowns.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I also like how it just feels better when you have like actual characters, actual antagonists you're going against, rather than just like the Witherstorm, which is just like a force that's just going that you need to stop. It feels better having like actual characters interacting with each other, characters with motivations for being assholes.
Yeah, the Witherstorm was hard to like get an emotional grasp on because it's just like so
Exactly.
ethereal and all encompassing. And then at the same time as that, your other secondary villain of that arc was Ivor, who is like I still don't know how to feel about Ivor to this day.
I
We seem
like
to
him.
really be going back and forth.
Ivor's
on
really grown on me.
he's like a really gross, weird individual, and I enjoy that for sure. Every time you
Yeah.
can throw that at me, I'll enjoy it. But yeah, it does raise a lot of questions of like, am I friends with Ivor? Like, are we really close now, or are we still keeping him at arm's length? Do we want him to have the enchanted flint and steel?
It seems like he's kind of growing on everyone else. Like Petra really hated him in the last one, but not so much in this episode.
Yeah, there's a moment where the other group seems to think that Lucas is a suspect, right?
Yeah.
So they try to lock up Lucas, and then Ivor says, "I'll keep watch as well." And Lucas makes a passing remark of like, "Oh, Ivor, I guess you do like me," which I didn't know that was a character dynamic between the two of them until then. But cool. I mean, yeah, that's something. That's something for Ivor and Lucas.
Yeah, I got
them.
more hatred between him and Petra in the last episode. He and Lucas didn't really interact that much.
Yeah, and if you remember the first episode, like why Ivor and Petra might hate each other, it totally makes sense that there's some long-standing animosity between those two. But now Ivor's spreading his roots, and he's really just part of the team. And he's got individual relationships with everybody.
I like that. Yeah, I like Ivor now. He's cool.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Ivor yet. He is fun. He's a really fun source of chaos to just throw in anywhere you need some chaos.
Yeah, he didn't have like a huge presence in this episode. He was kind of more in the background, but that's fine, you know.
So at this
at one point they were thinking he was going to be the next one killed.
Yeah.
Just because that's a plot line that didn't really go anywhere. It seemed like the portraits were like in an order of who was going to be killed, and then it turns out, oh no, not really.
Yeah, because I don't think Cassie Rose was really trying to kill anyone. She was absolutely ready and willing to do it, but she was only concerned with getting the enchanted flint and steel.
Right.
Yeah.
There wasn't a method to the portraits.
Yeah. So at the conclusion to the showdown with the White Pumpkin, aka Cassie Rose, underground with the Endermites, next to the real portal, you leave her stranded like on a pillar, surrounded by Endermites. She doesn't have any way of getting out of there, except we've seen an example of how you could get out of a situation like that by building out of the island and making a bridge. Like they did that for the Sky World, so I bet she's fine. I bet she's all right, actually.
Yeah, she probably got out like right after they left.
Yeah. She asks you for one thing, one moment of mercy, which is, can you throw me my cat Winslow to die with me? Like an Egyptian pharaoh being buried with their pets and slaves.
This cat's had it good for too long. I want him to be down here.
Yeah. Did you throw the cat down?
I gave her the cat.
I gave her the cat too, and I don't know why. I think in real life I would absolutely not.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, this cat is fine where it is. You can die down
You
there.
understand you're asking me to kill this cat by leaving it with you. They can't.
Yeah, but here I was just like,
if you can't leave.
I was just like, here, have your cat.
Yeah.
What else is it gonna do?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have
and you know what? All those other cats you have that just have no one to take care of them now, I guess they're done for.
They can at least like leave, and cats are pretty good at becoming wild after being domesticated. They can go out and they can hunt down a bird if they need to or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if they can get out of that like cave.
Well, it's connected to the rest of the house, right?
True.
Yeah. I mean, this Winslow, though, I don't know. If Cassie Rose actually is stuck there forever, then this cat also is stuck there forever. And I guess
I think Cassie
I don't know
just
why I'm cool with doing that, but I did give her the cat.
Yeah, Cassie says it's to have a friend. I think it's more so she has something to eat.
Well, I think that if anything, the cat's eaten her.
You think in this survival of the fittest, the cat comes out on top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think that.
Well, Cassie killed people and set up a whole thing. You don't think she could outsmart a cat?
I don't think she's trying to outsmart this cat. I think she's too in love with it. Like she has a weirdly deep, familial, almost romantic relationship with this cat.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, so you think Winslow will be the survivor of these two? Okay.
It feels like they're both dead. Like they're just both dead.
I guess that's probably the more likely one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Cassie's eaten the cat. I don't think she would. I think she would just die.
I don't know why I laughed at that. That's a bad sign.
So we went through the portal, and then we're like back in the portal hall. We don't know where we're going from there, and that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of the episode. This portal hall is a great way to just give you some new episodic stories.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we had a Telltale game with a truly episodic structure like this.
Yeah, I like it. I like when there's an overarching story like Walking Dead and stuff, but it's nice to kind of have... This is going to sound weird when we just played an episode about a murderer, but it's a little relaxing to have just like episodic stories once a week.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there'd ever be a Netflix movie of Homestar Runner?
I don't know. I kind of feel like if there was going to be, there would have been already.
Yeah, could be true. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the episode. We do get a little outro in the credits of Captain Sparkles doing a recap of everything that happened, explaining during the recap how he died in a very YouTuber kind of way.
It's great. It's great. I love it because he's just like, did you see that shit when I died, when I got killed? But I realized this happened after Jesse says next time on Minecraft Story Mode, and I don't think he says anything that happens next episode. He just says what happened this episode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that is not a next time, unless this just happens next time, which would be weird.
I'd like that. It means Captain Sparkles, that would be kind of a good fake out. Like it starts out with Captain Sparkles being like, and then I died. Did you see that? Now they're going through this portal, and then it zooms out and Jesse and the gang are there, and they're like, Captain Sparkles, how are you alive? And he says, I don't know, I'm part of your group now.
Oh, dude, you just wrote some fan fiction.
Yeah, I never thought I would have done that for Minecraft Story Mode.
Yeah, you did that you wrote some Captain Sparkles, a Minecraft YouTuber in real life fan fiction.
I decided, you know what? What if it went a different way?
Yeah, so pretty good fake out with that first fake portal. I was definitely surprised by that. Cool use of YouTubers and your community, and cool vibes for the murder mystery. Very, very cluey, very Agatha Christie, very Knives Out in a way. And
I thought it was great.
I thought it was a
great
cool
episode.
Yeah,
I really like that my opinion's kind of turning around on this series as a whole. Like it starts out pretty uninteresting. I wasn't very into it, but these last couple episodes,
the second arc of this series, I think, even just 2 episodes in, feels a lot stronger than the first arc of the series. I think it probably comes down to what you were saying before about how impersonal this issue of the Witherstorm is. I also like seeing Jesse grow.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning when they're fighting zombies, Jesse is now a full-ass action movie badass hero.
Yeah, just taking out like zombies everywhere. One thing I wanted to bring up. I was talking to a friend about it last week, and he was saying how the reason why Axel and Olivia are kind of written out of this arc is just because their voice actors couldn't commit to doing this extra add-on. So they were there to record some lines for like the first episode, but I guess after that, because they couldn't say they would be around to record all 3 of these episodes, they just
so they
wrote them out
were
and
going to
focused
be in
on
episode
these
5, but then
which
they
makes
were
sense.
written out of episode 5 mostly because they found out that there was a 6, 7, and 8 they couldn't do.
Yeah, it just sounded like they
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
like sign on to be here for all of them. So
Yeah, because we don't have Edelgard
Yeah,
or Magnus
which makes sense.
or Gabriel or Axel or Olivia.
Yeah. I like Axel and Olivia, but I also kind of like that we
starting
just have
now
this
in the
narrow
Adventure
focus
Pass,
on
we don't have the
characters.
Ocelots either. Most of those kinds of characters are gone. We just have a very core group.
Yeah, like we still have lots of lots of characters show up in these episodes, but it doesn't feel like you have to like keep tabs on everybody. You have your like 4 main guys who are gonna be with you for the season, and then you meet some new people every episode. Maybe they'll come back, maybe not, but you just have Jesse, Petra, Lucas, and Ivor.
A strong quad, I think. An interesting quad. They weren't the 4 characters I would have assumed we'd be following at the beginning of the series, but yeah, interesting.
Sam, who would you... I think my guess would have been...
Well, yeah.
Jesse, Petra, Olivia, and
the
Axel.
exact thing
but,
it's trying to set you up
yeah.
to believe in.
Right. I gotta say, I don't dislike
I do
that
kind of
we're
miss Axel
with this group instead.
On a specific level. I would have liked to see more Axel. He was fun.
Yeah. Like, I don't dislike Olivia or Axel at all. I'm sure I would have been fine with them being part of the 4, too, especially if they could, like, use them more. But I'm just saying I don't mind having it just
especially
be
with
the 4. You know what? I'm not the biggest Lucas guy. I think Lucas is fine, but I don't think he's like a particularly.
Well, I was just about to say with Lucas because with him in this episode,
it makes sense having him
when he is being suspected for being the murderer. He has this. It's not like a big focus of the episode, but he has this moment where he's talking to Jesse and he goes like, "Anywhere I go, people think I'm the bad guy. Like, what's up with that? What's going on?" And Jesse, to their credit, I don't think...
Right.
Like, they do their best job to make it seem like, no, Lucas, this is just a weird one-off. But you kind of do get the sense, like, it might not be a weird one-off. Like, Lucas does have a history of just being seen as being one of these bad guys anywhere they go. Yeah, with the Ocelots...
Yeah, like when he was with the Ocelots.
And I guess in jail in a separate universe. They're still just there.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's weirdly fun with everyone.
Fine with me.
Jesse's like, yeah, I'm not even going to try to barter for that.
Yeah.
You're not coming back.
Yeah, you are part of this
no
world
one
now,
you
and
ever
your
knew
existence
is alive in this reality. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to just be okay with that and leave you here. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
when you lay it out like that, it's
Dustin,
a
you want
little
to get into our
fucked up,
segments?
but I'm still fine with it.
What's your golden
yeah,
moment?
I think we could do that. I just kind of liked meeting the gang. You know, this whole episode I think is like pretty solid throughout, so it's hard to pick like any one moment in it, but I just like kind of meeting like all the guys in this episode, talking to all the YouTubers, getting to know them. Yeah, I feel a little bad that I can't really commit to like a bigger moment in the episode, but yeah, I guess it just says how good I thought this episode was. I thought it was very enjoyable, just all around. But yeah, I thought it was fun just talking to them.
I just like the moment at the very beginning when Torque Dog dies. It's not related to his death that I'm liking the most. but just realizing, oh, it's a
I
murder
love
mystery
when Torque
episode.
Dog dies.
That was fun for me. I really like murder mysteries in this style. I read
Right.
a lot of Agatha Christie, and
Same.
yeah,
It's interesting how they're able to do a murder mystery like this in an E-rated game and just have like brutal murders on screen.
Yeah,
but because it's
it is
Minecraft,
interesting
they can
because,
just get away with it, and it's fine.
It's very much a kids game. It's directed at kids as their target demographic, both because Minecraft is just popular with kids, and they did write it to be accessible to kids, and it's kind of got the acting chops of like for kids entertainment. Not for kids entertainment. That's a different company.
Right.
It's entertainment for kids.
Ooh.
And they're fine just doing a murder mystery and really playing it up and letting people for real die in fairly gruesome ways. Being eaten bite by bite by spiders is something you can do in the Minecraft graphical engine and then sell to children. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Right, it's just fine.
Yeah, you can just do
or
that.
Someone getting an axe in the back.
Choice cut. Mine is
fine.
throwing her the cat or not in the end.
Mine is too. I mean, it has to. There aren't a
Mhm.
whole lot of choices in this episode. I mean, there's some you
Yeah.
can like choose who to put the blame on, but that's really the only. I was saying last episode how the choices felt a lot bigger. Like you could really feel the outcomes of each choice. This episode, not really, but that's fine with me because I just like the murder mystery part. This is the only real one where you feel
Yeah,
it,
and
so it's a pretty
especially
easy choice.
like the one where you can pin the blame on someone. If Cassie was one of the answers and you could like expedite the learning process and get ahead of her murderous tendencies that way, then I kind of think that would be a bold and cool thing to put in a detective game like this. But she isn't, so you're destined to get it wrong.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I think it would have gone a long ways if they had Cassie be one of the people you can interrogate.
Yeah,
but she's
her and
conveniently the
Stacey
one
Plays
left out.
are just not. You don't need to interview him.
Yeah, I feel like it might have felt a little more satisfying if like you could question her, but like she's just so good at keeping her story straight that you suspect her just as much as anyone else. One thing we didn't talk about.
Yeah,
Dan,
and I'm sure that's an
his
inside
hair
joke to the
just
fact that the
changes.
YouTuber might dye their hair a lot. But every time he's on camera, his hair is a different color.
Yeah, to the point where like I thought he was someone else a couple times.
Yeah, because
I was
Minecraft
like, whoa,
characters
was there
are like
someone else I forgot
20%
about?
hair.
Yeah.
Torque Dog.
Who's your weekly guy this
He
week?
showed up, was shitty, and died. Just a real quick turnaround.
Yeah.
For just an exceptionally named character.
He really makes an impression. I also put down Torque Dog, but I do have a runner-up. But Torque Dog, I think what really sold me on him, besides the name, like as soon as I heard his name, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the guy. But part of it is just also like everyone reacting to him dying afterwards. Because like it seems like these guys haven't been here that much longer before us. They've been here longer enough to like get to know one another. But like as soon as you tell them Torque Dog's dead, everyone's like, "What? No, there's no way."
Yeah, and
no
Lizzie
way. Not
at one
our
point
Torque
says,
Dog.
"Well, yeah, he broke into my house, but I wouldn't wish him death." Like, oh, this guy's breaking into houses. This guy's.
Yeah, it's interesting how our new Order of the Stone gets wrapped up in this murder mystery, where it seems like everyone else, like you're outsiders to this group of people.
Yeah,
but this group of people all know each other before this. So it's interesting that they suspect the people in your group, who would have like not much motive. But still a good mystery. My weekly guy, I just said
Stampy
it's
was
Torque
pretty
Dog,
good.
but my runner-up is Stampy. Yeah, he did a good job. Like you said before, his performance really sold the character. I think of the YouTubers there, he is the one who most came across as like
they gave
a
him a lot
defined
of
character with a personality.
I wonder if he actually has the most lines. He might not, and maybe Sparkles has more, but he does feel like the one that has the most backstory within this cast of characters of like, okay, well, I didn't want it that much, but I had to take it with the Enchanted Flint and Steel. It was a really good joke. You wouldn't understand. Yeah, it's just
you weren't
like,
there,
at the
man.
slightest bit of interrogation or like intimidation tactics at all. If you pull any with him, he's like, "Okay, yeah, fine. I'm sorry. I'm immediately sorry. I apologize right away." Yep, sorry. Oops.
Yeah, sorry guys. He also had a really good line I wrote down. It's when they find the room of calico cats, and Petra says, "Cats give me the creeps. No offense, Stampy." And Stampy says, "None taken.
Pretty
I'm
good.
not really a cat." Yeah, we've said the humor in these are not very they're meant for a younger audience, and I feel like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like in the last couple episodes,
yeah,
they've been kinda stepping up
between
their
this,
humor
which
a
is designed to be humorous for a younger audience, which is a tricky thing. It's a tricky line to balance on, because you can't get too complex with your joke structures. You can't do too many references to anything older than like a couple of years ago. You can't just do
Right.
a lot of what we rely on for humor. But on the other hand, we did just play New Tales from the Borderlands, which has a sense of humor that I think is defiantly only for adults or older teens, right? And between the two, I think this is more successful
Right.
in telling jokes that make me laugh.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think like early on, it felt like the jokes it didn't feel like they were telling like bad
Yeah.
jokes. It just felt like there weren't a lot of jokes. Like it felt like a lot of the dialogue was more like progressing the story, and they would maybe like have a smart little quip here or there. But it was more about just like progressing a story. Meanwhile, New Tales from the Borderlands like goes out of its way to try to be
Yeah,
funny
I
and
mean,
just
that's
falls on its
we've
face.
talked
and
so much
fails
about
hard.
the comparison between old and New Tales from the Borderlands, and how the original was like a sleeper, one of the best Telltale games. I probably wouldn't have been a sleeper pick for it if we
Yeah.
were more adventurous while those games were actually coming out. We probably would have just known that. But yeah, I wasn't
Right.
ready to feel that way about it, and I do now. That game's great. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Love it. But yeah, I like that this is
Yeah.
starting to make me laugh more. Maybe it's just spending more time with these characters, or maybe it's just because we're out of that first story arc. Maybe they're just able
Every
to
episode
get
just
more humor
happens
out
to
of
be
the
a
situations
new
they're in.
full
Because we were talking
story
about
now in the second arc. The Adventure Pass is called that because each one's its own adventure, and they it seems like they're
Yeah.
more able to build every episode with all of their design purposes in mind from the ground up every time in these new episodes, and I think that's doing them a lot of favors.
Yeah. Agreed. Definitely agreed. I think they're allowed to let characters
Yeah.
like be goofier too. Like especially like Ivor is a good example. Like in that first arc, he was just kind of a mean shithead. Like he was just kind of doing bad things. He was fucking up, and then other characters, because of the nature of what was going on in their world, I feel like we couldn't get a lot of humor out of them. Like Axel had a line here or there that was funny, but other than that, it was just like, oh no, we got to be serious. We got a thing going on here. But here, because they're more episodic, it feels like maybe they're able to let that silliness come
remember
out
that
of the
one
characters
time
more.
that we were in the library in Soren's library, and Ivor was just running around supersonic speed, and he kept slapping us. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
my golden moment of the Witherstorm arc of the game.
Yeah, and even that's not like a joke. That's just something that ended up being funny. I don't know if it was like
I think that
purposefully
I
funny
think they
or
had
not,
some recognition,
but
like for things like that, and for when Ruben dies, he instantly poofs into a pork chop. There's some recognition of what they're doing is genuinely pretty funny.
That's true,
even when it's supposed to be a more serious moment.
Yeah. Right. I feel like in these later episodes we're able to just get more out of the characters, which is doing a lot more for me.
Good on them.
Yeah, so good on them. I'm not having a bad time playing Minecraft.
Neither. I'm excited for next week when we continue playing Minecraft Story Mode Season 1, still Episode 7. Yeah, and after that,
that's 7 whole episodes in.
Episode 8. So get ready for that. And until next time, Dustin, have a great summer.
Well, we'll see. Mitchell, I hope you have a great summer. You know, summer's only 3 months away.